Smellyanne conjob is back at it again, being full of shit. The Republicans maintain that they are working on a plan to replace Obamacare, which they technically don't have a plan. White House Counselor Smellyanne Conjob maintained Sunday that Republicans are working on a plan for replacing the Affordable Care Act, days after 45 surprised members on both sides of the aisle when he declared that the Republican Party will soon be known as the Party of Healthcare, which they won't be. In an appearance on Faux News Sunday, Smellyanne told Chris Wallace the Republican plan is manifold, but she did not provide specifics, instead going on to attack the Democrats over the Medicare for All proposal that some in the Republican Party have embraced. Asked by Wallace about criticism that there is currently no GOP plan, Conjob pushed back. There is a plan, she said. We've been working on a plan for a long time, and we hope that Congress would come along. Chris Wallace responded with, "Right, 9 years, but you've never actually come up with a whole plan. If they haven't came up with a plan in 9 years for any healthcare plan, then they don't have a plan." And she says, and this is her dumbass response. Well, 45 has been president for 2 years, so give us a chance. We're working on a plan at the White House. No, you guys are not. So quit lying, Smellyanne. Um, Despite Conjob's assertions, Republicans have no intention of crafting a new health care plan, fearing the potential political damage that a proposal could cause in 2020. Numerous GOP lawmakers, legislative staffers, and administration aides told the Washington Post. Senate Republicans, who were caught off guard by 45's rapid shift to focus on health care last week, have said the White House would need to make a big move, make it the first move by putting forward its own proposal. But administration officials told the Post that nothing firm is in the works. In a court filing this month, the Justice Department argued that the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, should be thrown out in its entirety, including provisions protecting millions of Americans who have pre-existing health care conditions and allowing young adults to stay on their parents' health care plans. Um, the only reason why the Republicans want to get rid of Obamacare is because they couldn't stand the fact that a black man was in office, and they want to They want to get rid of everything that this man accomplished. Acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney argued Sunday that the 45 administration does in fact support protections for those with pre-existing conditions. No, they don't. So quit lying, Mulvaney. The debate about pre-existing conditions is over, Mulvaney said on ABC's News this week. Both parties support them. Bullshit. The Democrats do, but the Republicans don't. And anyone telling you anything different is lying, which basically is what you're doing right now, Mulvaney, so quit lying. For political gain, if pre-existing conditions are going to be covered, the debate becomes how do you best do it. In an appearance on NBC's News, Meet the Press, Senator John Barrasso, who's a Republican from Wyoming, also faced questions about whether Republicans are proactively working on their own replacement for Obamacare. Should the American people expect an actual health care plan alternative from the Republican Party this year? Host Chuck Todd asked. Barrasso did not answer directly, saying only that Americans should expect to not have burdened with incredible costs that are affecting them now as a result of the health care law. After Todd continued to press him, Barrasso said, "I've been working on a plan since the day I got to the Senate." And Chuck Todd's response was, what is it, 12 years now that you've been working on this? And Smellyanne also had basically stated, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let's go back here. See what I can find. Um, Here we go. Yep, Smellyanne also said that she believes that Adam Schiff is completely compromised in wake of Mueller report. Oh, really? I said, if you think Schiff is compromised, I said, then what does that make Cheeto? I said, I think Cheeto's been compromised ever since he got into office. White House advisor Smellyanne told Faux News Sunday that she believes that Adam Schiff, the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, who spent um, months claiming to have evidence of 45 Russia collusion, is completely compromised and must step aside. That's what I would say about Cheeto. Cheeto was completely compromised and he must step aside. Schiff has vowed to press on with more investigations at the White House, despite Special Counsel Robert Mueller's long-awaited reports finding no such collusion at this time. But the California Democrat repeatedly and improperly used his position for political purposes. Conjob told anchor Chris Wallace and has lost the objectivity needed for the job. They used the taxpayer dollars and people's anxiety got into their lives. By the way, Adam Schiff is completely compromised, Conjob said. You want to find one person who's compromised. He's the head of the House Intelligence Committee, and he spent more time on TV than at that committee over the last however many years. And how many times does Cheeto spend on TV when he actually should be working at the White House and when he actually isn't? And at a diarrhea explosive Klan rally in Michigan on Thursday, 45 Klan rally basically, 45 mock Schiff as having the smallest in his neck I've ever seen in someone who is not a long ball hitter. Which 45 would know because 45 is not a long ball hitter. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. Every Republican in the House Intelligence Committee on Thursday demanded that Schiff step down as chairman. In a letter obtained by Faux News and signed by each Republican in the committee, the lawmakers slammed Schiff for his claims in the media that there was more than circumstantial evidence of collusion between the 45 campaign and Russia. They repeated their demand in person during a feisty hearing Thursday morning. In response to calls for his resignation last week, Schiff doubled down, saying in defiance of the Mueller report that there was evidence of collusion in plain sight. I think it's immoral, I think it's unethical, I think it's unpatriotic, and yes, I think it's corrupt and evidence of collusion, Schiff said, referring to meetings of 45 staffers with Russians. Meanwhile, Russian-American lobbyist Renat Akhmetshin, who, I don't know how you say that, I might be saying it wrong, who attended a mysterious 2016 meeting between Russians and 45 associates at 45 Tower, said Tuesday the Mueller investigation had taken a very heavy toll on him and his family, but he nonetheless thought it was thorough and fair. And all 9 Republican members on the panel have asked for his resignation, Conjob continued. I certainly did it a week ago, and the squatter has done it too. He cannot be fair. That is one of the most important positions in the United States, and he needs to step down. Separately, Conjob said 45's repeated threats to close the southern border with Mexico were serious. On Saturday, 45 made good on his threat to cut aid to 3 Central American countries he said haven't done enough to curb advancing caravans making their way to the United States. He keeps going on about these caravans coming to the United States, and he's full of shit because there haven't been any. It certainly isn't a bluff. You can't take the squatter seriously, and here is why. It certainly isn't a bluff. Of course it is. You can take the squatter seriously. I can't, and here's why. Conjob said, what he's looking at is that there were 4,000 immigrants apprehended in one day recently. Bullshit. We're on track. This went for close to 100,000. Bullshit. We have never seen a surge like this, which is also bullshit. Conjob also slammed the Democrats' health care proposals, telling Wallace if the Democrats actually liked Obamacare, they'd all be running on Obamacare. Instead, they're running on Medicare for All, which is the health care vision of the Green New Deal, which got exactly 0 votes in the Senate this week. And responding to her husband, George Conway's recent public spat with her boss, Smellyanne Conjob declined to answer whether she felt her husband was bullying her to get her to quit. Conjob told Wallace that the first line of protection in this world is and will always be my 4 children. And I saw pictures of her 4 kids. They are butt fucking ugly because Smellyanne is ugly and so is George Conway. Still, Conjob went on, what I will tell you is that George was very supportive of 45, cried on election night, and his MAGA hat blocks away from here at the Hilton in New York. Funny thing is that, from what I know, George Conway does not support Cheeto, and he's always criticizing him. Yeah.